In February, we've got our first white, the Philosophie Chardonnay. Chardonnay is the king of white grapes. It is incredibly heavily planted. There is Chardonnay in every single wine growing region on the planet. Even the very, very cold ones, like Champagne in northern France, where it's so cold, you basically can't ripen table wine. You have to turn it into Champagne because it doesn't ever get quite ripe enough. Lots of Chardonnay. Every single country goes Chardonnay. Why is Chardonnay so popular? Because it's easy to grow. There are fussy grapes like Pinot Noir, which just, they're really hard to ripen. They're subject to rot, mold, mildew, all kinds of vine diseases. They don't yield heavy. They're a big pain in the neck. Chardonnay, poke that vine in the dirt and stand back before it hits you in the face. It's going to pop up. It's going to crop heavy. It's going to be easy to grow. It's a snap. So everybody grows Chardonnay. The interesting thing about that is everywhere you grow it, it does something different. It's a chameleon. You grow it in Australia and you wind up with these incredibly voluptuous, rich wines that have tropical fruit and butter and just layers and gobs of oily lanolin characters. You grow it in a more northerly climate, like where I come from in British Columbia, and it comes off a little bit more like a Sauvignon Blanc, crisp, dry, very structured, all green apple. So it's kind of a chameleon throwing off all these different characters depending on where it's grown. But it consistently produces excellent wines. Some of the most expensive white wines in the world, Meursault, Montrachet, puis Fissé, Chablis, all these names are from France and from Burgundy. I have had the opportunity to taste some absolutely spectacular Montrachet before, and it was, I think at the time, just back in the 1980s, back when I had a real job, I think I paid $300 for this bottle. And it was worth every single penny. Chardonnay at that level is like a white red wine. Big, structured, heavy, just amazing. Our Philosophie Chardonnay, it's unoaked. There's no oak in this one. So it's there to express the fruit, and it is pretty bold. It's ripe, it has intense flavors. It's got that green apple character that I mentioned, a little bit of fig, and fig is kind of a subtle thing. If you've only ever had dried figs, they're kind of heavy and sticky. But if you've ever had a fresh fig, they've got this wonderful, delicate flavor you kind of have to chase around. It also has some tropical characters, a little bit of pineapple to it, a nice ripe pineapple, a bit of pear, a bit of peach, all kinds of these wonderful white stone fruit flavors as well. It finishes with a fresh green apple and citrus note and a little hint of almost a vanilla-y character, not coming from the oak, but coming from the grape itself. Fantastic food wine. Something fairly simple. You don't need to overload a Chardonnay. It works well with cream sauces because of the structure. So anything seafood. This is lobster thermidor, put back into the shell. I don't know about you, lobster is just about my favorite thing to eat. And with a really good Chardonnay that expresses that fruit, it is brilliant. It's also good with savory snacks. How many people here like to eat potato chips and drink white wine? Okay, only two. You are all missing out. Okay, are salt and vinegar chips a thing here? Yeah. Okay, because I've been to areas where you say salt and vinegar chips, and they're like, salt what? The next time you have a really fruity white wine, something like a Gewürztraminer or a Viognier or a Riesling, an off-dry Riesling, take my advice. Go buy a big bag of salt and vinegar potato chips, and you'll think to yourself, that tin guy must be nuts. You're going to take a chip, you're going to take a sip of the wine, and you're going to go, that's not bad. And 3 minutes later, you'll be doing this with the bag. I'm wondering if there's another bottle of wine. Brilliant combination. It's great with a good, salty, crisp, oily snack like that.